don't follow me on that. Yes, we do. Alright, let's engine on. And pipe in, harvester down, and let's get the rest of this done. So once the headland's done, we can start working on the middle bit. Now we've definitely got the capacity to make a cut through in either direction, especially since you've got a diminishing width or length on this field because of the angle of the road. But this hopefully should get us down to the bottom, and I'll be happy if we get that far. Now I am going to be finishing the stream a little early today, maybe a lot early today, because Mrs. Osa has some plans this morning that we have to achieve before midday. Is that corn over there? That's interesting. I don't have a corn header, so I can't actually cut corn. Don't have a forage harvester either. Although there are some nice tractor hauled foragers that you could use. I tend to do a lot of my work with tractor hauled equipment rather than $500,000 potato harvesters and sugar beet harvesters and forage harvesters. I want to position the camera this side so I can see what I'm doing. So this should be a straight run down to the bottom. I don't think we're going to need to be emptied before we get there. What I'm not certain about is whether we'll fill the grain cart to capacity or whether we'll be short possibly less than 200 litres, which will be a bit of an annoyance if that happens. I've been watching a show called Clarkson's Farm, which is Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear and the Grand Tour. Turns out he's owned 500 acres of farmland for a fair number of years, and so 2019 his farmer retired, and so in the Jeremy Clarkson way, he decided, it's farming, how difficult could it be for me to do? And very interesting show, and actually went into quite a lot of detail, considering. It was definitely aimed at people who have no knowledge of agriculture as opposed to people who've played farm sim or people who are actual farmers. And obviously you had the usual Jeremy Clarkson, I completely don't know what I'm doing here and I'm making a complete pig's ear of everything. But there was definitely a learning aspect. You could see he was figuring out how things worked, and then on top of that, this is only 20,000, so we're not full yet. And yeah, you get to see the troubles the farmers went through. The year he filmed it, we had, good grief, what was it? He had the worst planting season in years. Yeah, torrential rains, so he got his crops in sort of 8 weeks later than they should have been done. And then on top of that, he had the driest spring since 1976. So all told, a complete mess of a year. Okay, that's still running, so that's good. Put that in, and oh, our engine did stop. So that's interesting. Oh, because we still have the worker in the JCB. So if you've got a worker in a piece of equipment, the engine won't shut down until the worker gets bored and goes home. So that's usually worker is blocked by something like the edge of the map earlier. But follow me workers don't get blocked because they're just following the guy in front, and if the guy in front's going slowly, he's not a blockage, he's just the target of your drive. Anyway, so I guess we'll do a third headland. We'll probably capacity the grain truck before we complete this loop. Well, that may be okay. I really miss the compass top middle from Farm Sim 17. I have to turn the little map on, and that tells me we're doing about 43 degree path up this. Yield on this field, however, is surprisingly good. So, not going to complain about that. We might end up shipping, what was I thinking, this 30,000 litre wagon. I was thinking we were going to, at tops, get 3 full carts up to the farm. But with the yield that's indicating, we may get more. Obviously, the headlands account for, and going around a third time, that will account for about 60% of the yield. 40% of the yield. I think you go around twice is about 25%, I think. I'll do a loop. Just because it'll help out the baler. I was thinking about doing a 3-point turn, reversing back and then pulling forward, but follow me workers don't cope well with that at times, so I must admit it's a very hazy day here. 68 degrees, that's warm. It's not incredibly warm. I live in Michigan, so yeah. We've had a week of 80 degrees, now we've got 5 days of rain. So my plans to cut the grass this weekend, not happening. Again. But it is what it is, they're both the Spitfires. Oh, we are done again. Let's go get the cart. Mind the telephone pole. and crawl slowly up this hill. I'm not sure what combination of mods or game settings I've got turned on that causes such a slowdown, but I'm kind of okay with it. I think vanilla game, you tend to run around at 32 miles an hour with a fully loaded cart in a tractor that's barely capable of hauling it. But then even the 300 horsepower tractors have a challenge getting up this hill, even empty. Not just this hill, but these hills. Okay. Keep it wide again so we don't kill any crops. And slalom through all of the bales. And then we get a runaway tractor going downhill, of course. I think also on the last episode, Clarkson was doing an unload on the move for the harvester. That was interesting to watch. He blew it the first time, or his first attempt. But once he got the hang of, I want to load the back of the cart, I need to go faster, and I want to load the front, I need to slow down, not stop. And it looked, after his first cart load, it looked like he was getting that very, he picked that particular skill up very quickly. He's reversing the cart into the shed to unload, not so much. And that, I used to play a fair amount of truck sim, and even doing that, I still have to think about reversing into parking spaces. And I want the back end of the trailer to go that way, so I want the front end of the trailer to go that way, so I need to turn the tractor that way to achieve it. One of the truckers that watches the stream did suggest what you need to do is to look straight backwards, and when you want the trailer to go left, you turn the wheel left, which actually makes the rig itself turn right. Sounds a bit confusing, but that's actually a good hint. But obviously facing this way, you then have to think backwards. If I want the trailer to go left, I have to turn the rig right, or something. Yeah, when you're facing backwards, stop. So when you're facing backwards, if I want the rig to turn left, I turn the wheel to the left. If I want the rig to turn right, I turn the wheel to the right. Then I have to figure out how to get it all straight, but that's usually turn the wheel in the opposite direction you're currently turning it. Come on, keep going. Give me some more space. There we go. Okay, we will start this last run up here. Maybe I'll harvest it in this general direction. Gonna need to put a cut through in. But running up here should probably fill up the cart. How's our yield looking? This bottom corner's not great. I think for all of our regular crops, actually for all of our crops, potatoes, sugar beets, sunflowers and triticale, we did end up with the most ideal nitrogen levels. Obviously the sunflowers we didn't use a lot of fertilizer on, because we'd already sprayed the field with digestate. But we completely blew it for the clover, because the clover field were originally grass fields, so I ploughed the grass in, which gave me a nitrogen boost. I then put down digestate, which gave it another nitrogen boost and actually pushed us over what clover wants as the ideal nitrogen content. So in theory, the next it's going to be a little bit of a competition, I think. The theory being that we'll get worse harvest because the pH is dropping on the clover, but better harvest because the nitrogen is dropping. So we might not see any benefit from reducing the nitrogen levels on our clover fields by successive cuts. But eventually we'll get down to the point where we are below the clover ideal nitrogen levels, and then we will probably need to lime the fields anyway. Oh, we have enough room for 800 litres. Well, that's just awesome. See if I can sneak. I think the bale's a little bit further past. Yeah. Okay, and that's it. Yeehaw. So now take this down to the bottom. We'll grab the bale collector and fill that up. I probably should have filled it up and followed the cart up with the first load. But that's the first load. I don't know. Now we might get three cart loads out. Anyway, engine on. So the only plans we have for straw is to sell it. So we can do that as we go. It makes the overall collection and sell process a lot less laborious. I should probably jump out and turn off the JCB. Yep, don't hear an engine noise there, so we're good. And I didn't check the contracts to see if that wheat field was available yet. We don't have the time to do it today because it's 3:45. We'll probably be going till 6 o'clock, I'm guessing. All right. Lift the arm up. Let's get back to the yard. Well, I suppose we're getting income from straw. We're not getting a lot. But possibly be just shy of £200,000 at the end of this harvest. Where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? Okay then. Well, that's a new one on me. I'm guessing it did that because it wants to be in a line behind the case, and I engaged follow me early enough that it had the opportunity to figure out, oh, I need to track over. Normally I stop the trucks or the tractors right behind the vehicle they're going to follow, so they don't have time to get in a line. I don't think my mirrors aren't positioned, so I can't see it. However, we can do that, and that's a good follow. So we're okay. Oh, and that's home. Private footpath up to the yard. Well, track. So what is the time? We're about, whoops, and that wasn't good. That was very bad, actually. Oh. And no, I'm not going to be able to reverse out of this because the follow me is... Yeah, Alpha F is blocked by an object. No! That's, oops. Let's go forwards. Let's get out of the hedge. There we go. And let's... I should be able to extricate myself because I don't have the weight of the class behind me. Going to have to drive past all these trees. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Well, that was... So we went through the hedge on a point where there is no fence. We came back through a point where there is a fence. So I should be able to get through here. Again. And we can turn the beacons off. Okay, now let's pay attention to where I'm driving and not what's happening outside. That's probably a good plan. This tractor, I think, might... No, we can't see past the bales. Oh yeah, there's the plan of the case, so we're good. Take this down to the end, we'll spin around. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Disengage the follow me and he tries to end up in the field. Why not? Alrighty. Let's get this thing turned around. Nice. And I'll get this tipping. Actually, what I want to do is tip side back. Back door, rain door. Now the reason for doing that is it tips a lot lower. And here we are back in the class. So I don't need. And since I'm doing a double dump, I'm not too worried about how long it's going to take the grain cart to empty. Just using the grain door tip. There we go. No, wrong way. So long as we're far enough away from the wall on the right, that will all disappear and make us money. So yay money. So yeah, about 3,000 per load. 3,500 per load. Oh, that one. So next load will put us up to 180. Now we can run back down to the field and to the harvester again. So we only had enough room for about 11 or 25 litres. So I'll set this up empty in the harvester. We'll jump back in the class and pick up a full load of bales, probably from that, along the roadway. Hopefully the other class is right behind us. It won't get stuck on the concrete mixer. Get this thing straight. Okay, now we need both hands. I can never remember which signposts are actual physical objects and which are just pictures of signposts that you can drive through. How are we doing? And we're doing quite nicely. So yeah, there's definitely one more full cart. But I am wondering the yield on this field, will we get more than two? Oh, this is it's kind of an awkward approach because of that bale. Probably should have collected that one at the very least. But for right now, I think we can maneuver this into the right place. Okay.